see everything. Okay, we are recording. So, 3-point perspective. And we live in a three-dimensional world, so there are 3 vanishing points. 2 is usually enough, because that third one is hard to see. Now, 2-point, as we said, we have 2 vanishing points on the furthest edges of our horizon. Let me make my horizon a little shorter so you all can see it. And those, remember, are at the furthest reaches of our peripheral vision, right? Out here somewhere. And again, depending on your perspective, because when we're talking about 1-point, 2-point, 3-point perspective, that's your perspective. Now, where's the third one? Well, the third one depends on your point of view. The third one is either at the center of the Earth, so let's go all the way down here, or up in space. So, and again, that depends on your point of view. So let's pretend, in this case, our third point of perspective is in the center of the Earth. So I'm going to say I'm going to go from the middle of my horizon line. I'm going to eyeball it. I was trying to measure it, but it's a weird size, so middle of my horizon line, I'm just going to draw a perpendicular line all the way down as far as I can while you all still being able to see it on camera. On your piece of paper, just do it at the bottom of the page. So again, if you think about your vantage point, your point of view, if the third point of perspective, the third vanishing point is in the center of the Earth, that means you're looking down. So imagine being in a helicopter looking down at a building. If you're on the ground and looking up at a building, that third vanishing point is up in space. So again, think of left, right, up, and down. If I'm looking down, if I can see the third vanishing point below my point of view, the horizon, then I'm in a helicopter looking above. So, let me get my demonstration here, my cube. We started out with 1-point perspective looking at a plane, flat surface. 2-point, we shifted that box and now use the vertical edge, the leading edge. Now, we're going to shift that. So 3-point perspective, we'll just start with a point. So we've gone from a plane to a line to starting with just a point. So I'm going to start, again, anywhere on my sheet above or below my horizon. Again, I'm going to try to stay within my 3 points of perspective. So you can kind of almost draw a really light triangle connecting your 3 points of perspective. Try to stay within that triangle. Now again, you're going to notice that things look really distorted because this third point of perspective is hard to see unless you're looking up at the Empire State Building. If you're just looking at your house, it's going to be almost imperceptible. It's there, but it's going to be really hard to see. So we're cramming 3 dimensions into one small sheet of paper, so it's going to look a little funky. But bear with me. So I'm going to start right here. I'm just going to draw a point. Now again, that point and every point after must connect to all 3 vanishing points. So I've got 1, 2, 3. Or what's better is left, right, and bottom. And again, things are going to look distorted because we are distorting reality. We are cramming three dimensions into a small area, especially in a small piece of paper. So again, I'm going to start with my point. I'm going to connect it to my left, right, and bottom vanishing points. Whoops. A little bit off. Let's get that right. So you'll sort of have a kind of a chevron, a weird sort of Y shape. So that's our top leading edge, the leading edge or the leading point that is closest to you. So we have now a left side and a right side. I like writing these down again so that I know which direction I'm going. Am I going to the left or am I going to the right? Everything on this side goes to the left. So let's just start with our right side. So again, where do I end this? I end it wherever I want. Realistically speaking, I'm just going to put it like right here, just to keep things simple. I'm going to draw a point. And remember, that point needs to connect to my vanishing points, all three of them now. So this point already connects to the right. Now it needs to go to the left. And I'm going to draw it all the way. Again, at some point you won't go all the way to the vanishing point. That won't be necessary. So now this point connects to the right vanishing point. Now it connects to the left vanishing point. Now it just needs to go down to the bottom vanishing point. And in this case, since we are hovering above in a helicopter, that's going down to the center of the Earth. Adjust this a bit. So let's do the left side. And again, end it wherever you want. So I'm going to make this side a little bit longer. I'm going to draw a little point. Now, again, this point has to connect to all three. It already connects to the left through this line. Just needs to connect to the right now. So now I've got the left side and the right side. Now I have the top. And if you want, again, as you go, feel free to, and if you feel good about your lines of perspective, feel free to erase. Because again, we want to get rid of them. At some point, we don't want to draw them at all because they get in the way and they can confuse things. So I'm just going to get rid of them now. So I feel pretty good about them. So this left point we're working with here connects to the left vanishing point. To the right now needs to go to the, I guess bottom doesn't really fit because let's just do center. Center vanishing point. However you want to conceptualize it, that's up to you. Left, right, and center, 1, 2, 3. So my left point here now goes all the way down to my center or my bottom vanishing point. Now again, this what looks to be a tower that we're hovering above in a helicopter needs to end somewhere, doesn't it? It can't end at the center of the Earth, so I'm just going to pick some point to end it. How tall do I want my building? Well, let's make it really tall. I'm going to edit right about here. Again, I'm just going to draw a point. That point needs to connect to all three vanishing points. So right now, this point already connects to the bottom, already connects to my center or third vanishing point. Now it needs to connect to the left and right. And you're going to see as we do this, the left and right sides of my building and I'm going to go again. I'm going to go all the way, just to be sure. At some point, once you're comfortable, you won't need to go all the way to your vanishing points. So I have left, right, top, and I've got these sides figured out, so I can now start to erase my extra lines. Now that I have an enclosed three-dimensional shape. Now again, that third vanishing point is almost imperceptible on a normal day-to-day basis. It's just good to know that it's there, especially if you really want something to appear three-dimensional or you're drawing something on a larger scale, like a large building. I'm going to kind of redraw some of my lines. They're starting to disappear. So now I have what appears to be a pretty simple rectangular building that I am hovering above in a helicopter. Now, where you put your third vanishing point, it's up to you. You can either be looking up, down on your buildings, so I'm looking down at the center of the earth. If you flip this and put your vanishing point up here at the top of your page, and again, put it at the very top of the page. Put these vanishing points at the extremes of your page, because again, they're at the extremes of your peripheral vision. The smaller this space is, the more things get distorted, because we're taking 3 dimensions and cramming it into this little area. So again, I've got, start with a point, and again, I want you to do 3 cubes up top, 3 cubes below your horizon line. And I'm going to do one up here too. I'm going to have one. I'm going to have one that crosses my horizon line. Why not? Then I'm going to start with a point. For a 3-point perspective, you start with just a point. That point must connect to each vanishing point. I'm going to start above my horizon, because even if I'm in a helicopter floating above the city, there might still be a building taller than me. I could still be looking up at a building. And again, make sure as you go, erase these lines as best you can. I'm having trouble erasing mine because I'm drawing very dark so you all can see. So, what do? Well, I want to connect these 2 buildings, so I'm going to use this as a reference. I'm going to use this as my point. And I'll show you how. I need to decide where to end these lines. I already have this line of perspective from this building, and I'm just going to match it. I'm going to end this right here. I've lined them up so that they're going to be on the same vertical line going down. So I'm just going to connect the 2 right now. I'm going to do that. So this point that I drew now connects to both the right vanishing point, and now I connected it to the bottom, my center vanishing point, but I connected it to this building. I wanted to connect the 2. I'm going to erase this right now just to get rid of it since it's already gone. Now, where do I want to end the left side of my building? Well, I want it to be kind of narrow. I don't know why. I'm going to end it here. So this point connects to my left already. It connects to the right, and needs to connect to the right, but remember, I'm crossing over my building here. And so it's behind, right? This line back here is behind, so I can ignore it. And it just needs to come down here to my bottom vanishing point. I'm going to draw it all the way, even though I know where it ends already. Where does it end? Again, I'm going to connect it to this building, and so I'm going to use this building as a reference. Where does the bottom of my building stop. Well, it stops right here. Now, if you see these as buildings, this is the bottom of the building where the sidewalk is. And since we're drawing 3-point perspective cities, I'm going to start speaking in terms of cities. So that's where the left side of my building, the right side of my building is. Now this looks funky, right? This point that I've drawn here needs to connect to all 3 vanishing points. It connects to this one, it connects to this one, but it doesn't really connect to this one, so I'm going to connect it to that one, because this line right here is extra. If you look at this building, there's something wrong. What's wrong is this right here. Because again, I need to make sure that all 3 of my vanishing points are considered. So I'm going to just do that. Now that's one option. So I have 2 buildings here. It's a lot more complicated for sure, Sarah. It's getting more complicated, but it's fine. Just take it step by step. I'm going to erase all my extra lines. I'm going to erase the horizon here because this building crosses my horizon line. Now, you can see how much more complicated this can get the more I add to it, but keep it simple to start. Just keep it simple. I'm not going to go much further. Every point, keep in mind as you draw, every point needs to connect to a vanishing point. As I erase, I want to make sure all my lines come back. So again, at some point, once you feel comfortable with this, you don't have to draw these lines all the way. Or if they're getting confusing, if they're getting in your way, don't draw them. Just make sure that your lines are connecting to a vanishing point. Now, there's lots of things I could have done this. I could have connected both buildings in an L shape. I'll show that to you guys later once we start doing the city. For now, just keep it simple. Keep these shapes simple. In the next demonstration, I'll show you how to do more complicated shapes like cylinders and domes and pyramids, which I will want you to do. But for now, just keep it simple. Again, 3 cubes above our horizon line, 3 below. You start with a point, and every point must connect to your left, right, or center vanishing point. Okay, any questions? All right. It gets more complicated, but I have faith. Again, take your time with this. I'm going to stop the recording right now.